make money with people, not from people. Like brands, I always tell people, they're paying you. You're getting money from them. Why don't you make money with them?
Right.
You don't have to be a bad person in order to be a good business person.
When I think about other creators, I think a lot of times creators are relying only on brand deals. So they're like shucking and jiving, trying to sell themselves to the highest bidder. When they have an active audience, they should productize themselves.
Because now you really become the business. Right. Aside from how do you leverage your influence to do other things, and how do you use your influence to have transactional influence?
Right. What are the biggest mistakes that you would say that our creators are doing that is moving them away from monetizing their brand? Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Look, today's show is going to be fire. We got my man, my brother, business manager, Myq Rodriguez, co-founder and CEO of the brand Success. We are going to dive deep into the creator economy and a powerful message behind our new book, The Content to Cash Bible. If you're a content creator, you might see yourself as just someone who shares videos, posts, or ideas. But the truth is, you are a business. What Jay said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. There's a multi-billion-dollar company or multi-billion-dollar economy built around the content you create. And it's time to take control of your piece of the pie. In the Content to Cash Bible, we provide the ultimate blueprint for content creators to monetize their gifts, grow their influence, and secure financial freedom. And now, with the Brand Success Academy, Myq is taking this message even further by offering courses and coaching programs to help creators succeed in a fast evolving economy. We're going to be talking about everything from how you can really take your content to the next level. But ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my brother, Myq Success Rodriguez.
Appreciate that, bro. I'm bringing you everywhere, bro.
Oh, brother.
I went from inside the planes, inside the whip. Now I'm inside the...
Oh, bars.
You know what I'm saying? I do those once every 4.
Yeah, that's
soon to tell you. I got once every 4 years I come up with something.
Let's go. Yo, I'm excited about this interview. So first and foremost, we were able to put together a super 3-time best-selling book that's going crazy on the internet, a lot of things. And it's so funny because there's so much content. So I'm in Atlanta, obviously. You're in New York. And so I'm like, yo, I'm seeing all this content, you know what I'm saying, with a book that we did. I said, how we don't got an inside? we gotta connect and do that, man. So I really want to have this conversation. I'm excited about this conversation because a lot of people don't know you like I know you. Right. They don't know your genius, what you do. A lot of people they might see your name on my bio, right? They might post just, but they don't really know the importance of having somebody like you on the team, right? To help people bring their genius to the next level. And so I definitely want to dive into who you are, what you do. For myself, but then other creators as well. I want to talk about the book. But before we even go there, for those who don't know, who is Myq Rodriguez?
Well, first I want to tell you thank you.
Yes, sir.
Right? I appreciate you. I've been I can always step outside the bubble,
Yep.
right? And I've been a fan of this content. I've been a fan of this show. I've been a fan of yours, so I appreciate and I'm honored to be in this chair.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
That being said,
Yes,
Myq, I always say one word, I'm a visionary, right? Sometimes creators don't, just because you're creative doesn't mean that you have vision. I put those pieces together to help you, whatever it is that you do, manager, marketer, stepping into media, just an overall good person. I say I'm a shark, but I'm a vegetarian shark, right? I'm one of those. But overall, good business breeds more business, and you know that. And for everybody out there, like, you don't have to be a bad person,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to use different words, right? You don't have to be a bad person in order to be a good business person. So I'm here, and I'm just here to help and educate now.
Yeah.
Educate now.
So I've always, we've known each other for over 15 years. Introduced by the big plug, Coach Glow, your mom.
Yeah.
And so funny story is, I was really big into the law of attraction. Since watching The Secret 2006, there was a, salute to my brother, DJ Cut, who, used to send out my daily words out to everybody. He was the co-host of the Ed Lover Show back in Power 105. Through that, he introduced me to Trey Black, rest in peace, who had a radio station called Source Energy Radio. And he was doing these meetups. This was like early on in the law of attraction or whatever. And so he did a meetup in White Plains. I met Coach Glow. And I'm still young, but I was a young guy, you know what I'm saying? And talk about the law of attraction and things of that nature. And she was like, you got to meet my son, and, from there, we met, connected immediately, and really, built a relationship. We wanted to work with each other, but at the time it just, I wouldn't say it didn't make sense. It just didn't materialize.
Right.
Us working with each other. You were, you working with, hip hop artists at the time. You were in the music business, really was always about your business. Always somebody who was really influential in that space. Always put your artist first, and was pushing your artists and things of that nature. Fast forward, following your career, and then I just started noticing like you were back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Back in the game, but this time in a different capacity, managing influencers, but not even just managing influencers from a perspective of, managing, their social media presence. If somebody thinks about a manager, influencers manager, but really, you were behind a lot of major deals that influencers were getting. Specifically, when I think about Chickley and Melanie, I was seeing them in like Nike commercials and title shows, and I'm like, man, these guys are killing it. And then to find out was like, yo, Myq is the one managing them. Talk to us a little bit about that, right? Your beginning, like, how did you, get into hip hop, right? And a manager in hip hop, and then how did that transition from you managing hip hop artists to now managing influencers?
Well, I'll say I started as a creative. I started as a dancer, right? High school. I was always a dancer back in the days, breakdance, all that type of stuff. But then I was a dancer with a group that had a deal. Heavy D's DJ, Eddie F, had a label called Untouchables Entertainment. We were signed to him. I was fed a bunch of lies, like, and again, whoever was handling it, I was told a lot of different things, right? You're going to be going on the holiday tour with Bobby Brown. Like, there was a lot of things that were said. And I always was around business or whatever. And my cousin, I was around 21 years old. My cousin said, I have this girl. Do you want to manage her? And I was like the smart guy, meaning I knew how to speak, right? I was around business my whole life. My grandmother had a bar for 40 years in the South Bronx. And I was just in business, bro. And he said, hey, you want to do this? I said, sure. Nothing ever materialized from that. And I was into hip hop. And I wanted a hip hop artist because I'm like, this is the genre that I know. And I just want to be able to go. And I read the book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business. The reason this is for creators, the same version. But did that, had a regular artist, which was wild, my man Bio. And then finally got a hip hop artist. And then funny enough, we had a company called Success Entertainment. Suits is actually with me today. It was me, him, and the artist celeb. We had BDS, and Cut was actually the first person to play our song on on Power 105. So yeah, exactly. So did that, and then again with Suits, we kind of got he called me. He was like, "Yo, I got an artist that I'm working with. His name is G Fella, rapper. I'm the producer. We just need kind of like the business side. Sure, no problem." Took that to a point where we had a show on Fuse where you actually came to the premiere. We had an 8-episode deal with Fuse, and then it just didn't pan out. And I was starting to see some things in the industry that I didn't really care about. I'm not a backstabby type of individual, and I just started to see a lot of that. And I was around it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you know what? I gotta fade to black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of stopped. And full transparency, I went through like a mild depression. Because I felt like, I thought the show was going to get picked up for a second season. Like, being on TV, it was like, oh, it's going to be the next thing. Yeah. And then, political situations within the network. And I think the Fuse was bored and a lot of different things happened. So I felt like at the time, the rug got pulled.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I'm not 21 years old, right? Husband, father. I don't know if I could really be in the studio again and start over because I was trying to do that. So I took a hiatus and I kind of started a baseball team. That's another love of mine is sports and still entrepreneur. I was like, hey, we're going to start a team. Did that. But through my hiatus, my nephew, through marriage, which is Chicle, he was starting to do what he was doing. And in 2017, in January, he said, I'm going to take this serious. I was still just Uncle Myq. Cool. Then in July of 2017, he had a meeting. He had done a skit with a Douce bottle. And he went up to do the Douce podcast. And again, cool. And he was like, yo, Rock Nation said they want me to come back to speak to Tidal. He's like, I have no idea what it's about. I was like, yo, you want me to roll with you? Now, mind you, I hadn't done anything in a minute. Yeah. I want to, because I know what this industry is like.
Right.
I just kind of wanted to go, I look at him like a son. I want to kind of like protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Ended up going over there. They wanted to give him a web series on Tidal. And then when we got there, he didn't really, he was like, oh my God, I had no idea what they were talking about. And it was very different for me. I can remember walking into that building. The feeling was completely different, right? Because before I was so anxious, like wanting to have the deal made and this. And when I walked in, I just kind of was different, right? I was like, I've been here.
Yeah.
I don't like using the word care,
right?
But it was kind of like,
the subtle art and not.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. But when we got downstairs, he had, basically he was like, yo, Myq, I didn't know what they were talking about. They had throwing words, a lot of the bigger words that they would put in contracts and everything like that. And from there, it was kind of like, I don't know if this was actually said, but it was kind of like, hey, can you do this? And I said, sure. And that was in July. And I said, Uncle Myq, I'm going to show you Manager Myq.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how we got the ball rolling. And it was a beautiful thing because I trusted him and he trusted me.
Yeah.
And then it was built with Melanie and being in this space, it was just, again, it was creative and I was able to help and I was able to, he's 19 years younger than me. And it was great because he used my experience and I didn't think that I knew everything about this space. Yeah. And I learned with him. And that's why, as you know, I ended up giving Chicle a plaque for this book because without him, I'm not in this space. Yeah. I don't get the knowledge. I don't get back. And, we were on a panel one time. He's like, yo, I got Myq back in his bag. Yeah. But it's true. Yeah. But it's true. And to be where I'm at now, and I've, clearly I'm on your show. I'll never forget that. I'm one of those people. I never forget where I come from. Yeah. So that's kind of like, I guess, the medium, not short or long version of the story. But
and then how did one of the things when we got reintroduced, I really felt intriguing about you was that it wasn't that you were only managing, right? So it went from Chicle and Melanie to now having a roster full of different creators that you manage. One of the things that I found intriguing was like, you was like, yeah, man, we helped them get life insurance. Yeah. We helped them, get bank accounts and business structure and things of that nature. Why do you think that's important for a creator to treat themselves like a business?
Because I think, because it is now, right? And I always equate influencers and creators like hip hop. When hip hop started, It was an art form, right? And it was a hobby. And then once money came involved, a lot of artists got taken advantage of because they didn't know that this could actually be a business.
Yeah.
This influencer situation, this creator economy comes around. I saw that. I was at the beginning. And it's the same thing to me based off of an art form. And I just wanted people, especially in our communities, to understand that this is a business and you can actually make a career out of this. And you have to be self-sufficient, right? Because nobody teaches you anything. This is an art form, right? Music industry, you got books and all that type of stuff. And I don't even know how many people, if they do that, as far as on a life lesson, right? It's because this is a career. It's not just a job. And you're making all this money. And I didn't know at the beginning, but I know enough to tell you now, hey, you have to be in charge of your life, right? And if you're making 7 figures off of your phone and you don't have life insurance or health insurance, let's be that. Let's be that. And to the point of, once you know me, Ash knows Myq.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to be around me to know that I actually care.
Yeah.
Right? So when somebody, if I just meet a creator or whatever, and I ask you about health insurance and life insurance, and people, some of them don't think about it. Some of them, oh yeah, I do need that. I'll do it maybe 3 times to try to set something up, because it's not like I get a cut off of what you do. I'm legitimately caring about you as a human. Right? So after 3 times, like, I kind of fade out. Right? It's here. I got to tell you, this is what I think you should be doing. But if you don't want to, that's your business too, because I'm not your dad. Right? So, but I think as long as I do my part in my circle, like, I'm all about a human element. It's not just my clients, because I'll talk to people that aren't my clients, and I'll have those conversations too.
Yeah.
Hey, you want me to connect you with something? Because it's not really just about, like, not just about me, and not just about what I can get. It's a culture, and I come from, it takes a village to raise, and this is something that I don't think there's a lot of direction. And that's why, going back to, I was glad that we were able to do this. Because I think it's a small part, at least in the beginning, at least for me.
Yeah, no, I love it, because I really think that for so much, like, I mean, even we look at this past presidential election, right? Like, most of both Donald Trump and Kamala, Harris, they use influencers more than they use mainstream media, right? They use the Joe Rogans, they use the, the podcast, they use, people who've had influence. And I mean, when we hear about the numbers that, some, people were spending on influencers, even when you think about from a brand perspective, why don't you think that influencers realize that there's a economy behind it, meaning that their influence should be paid for and not sponsored with free stuff?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and you know this. I tell everybody all the time. It's a word. It's a creator economy, right? That economy was built off of creators, right? So nobody cares about you unless there's an economy, right? But you got to believe that too, right? Because you could charge $200, he could charge $50, and I would charge $10,000 for him, right? But they're sitting there coming to you, or whoever is the cheapest, right? It's still a numbers game, right? And again, we're in the numbers game, but I don't lead with numbers. But at the end of the day, it's like, there's money here. There's money involved, and nobody understands that, because I think, and it goes back to what I've learned from you, it's the or, right? Like you say, it's and, not or.
Right.
And I think we, as an economy and as a culture, and I'm not talking about just black, brown, but creator economy, it's from scarcity. I don't want to tell you $5,000, even though I feel like I'm worth that, because I got to make sure that I'll get that 2,000 or that 1,000 because I got something this weekend, or I got rent to pay, or whatever. You got to learn to, structure yourself in that way, and you got to know how to maneuver. It's not easy, but think about it. It's almost like the drug game, right? You literally picked up your phone, did something, and you're having fun. You're doing this, and somebody wants to give you, your first, hey, I'll give you $50 for a story promo or whatever. oh, wow, I could do this, and now I'm making money. And now you're getting cash up. Now you're just concerned about the money. Yeah. Now I got to continue doing it. As much as you got to put out content, you're like, oh, I got to continue getting that money. Yeah. But you lose sight. And then it's like, me, I know I'm 50 years old. So it's easy for me to have that mindset of like, hold on a second, let's figure this out. Yeah. And I'm talking to a 20-year-old who's like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm out here. I'm going to get that bread. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. But, hopefully with conversations like this and as we do what we do, people start to learn. And I like the term that you use, and I'm going to say it on camera, the creator economists that we're trying to create out here. I think it's important. It's important.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I would love for you to give me your thoughts on this, but some of it has to do with self-worth too, where people are so wanting, they're wanting validation so much. They want the likes, they want the attention, that they don't realize that they're over here building somebody else's brand, making them money, and don't think that they're worth the money, right? So I'll give you a prime example. There is a popular creator who is making a brand very popular, right? Wrote a song about the brand, does videos about the brand. And I was shocked because I was watching this and I'm like they're really going crazy with this brand. And I'm talking about maybe not 1 billion views. I might be exaggerating if I say 1 billion views, but it's hundreds of millions of views. It's a lot of views, right, that they're giving towards this brand. And I was shocked that they didn't have an official deal with the brand. Like I was like, yo, how are you creating songs and videos and skits and like everything you talk about is about this brand. And they were excited that they got a care package from the brand. And it just blew my mind. And I get it, right? These are young people, right? These are people who have to figure it out, right? They have to figure out the worth first. So I'm almost, in a way, as I'm saying this, I'm almost asking you what comes first, right? Is it do you prove your worth first and then charge, or do you charge and then, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm from the build a brand first, then the business. Yeah. So I'm all about that. Even sometimes with creators that have been getting paid, there's situations that we haven't got money. Yeah. And it's not as black and white as that. It's just, hey, this could lead to something. Yeah. And I've had people that get paid do something, do a free promo. That's what you could call it, free promo, but it's like, no, there's a vision here. Behind the scenes, that's what it is. And then it leads to a show. Yeah. It leads to payment, right? I just don't think people understand it, right? Because I come from a generation that clout doesn't pay nothing. Yeah. But clout does pay, right? And I'm even learning that to kind of evolve.
Clout does pay.
Yeah, it does.
Bar.
But
I mean, like crime does pay.
That's another segment. Clout pays. Clout. Oh, that's the influencer. Hold on a second. Shut the cameras off right now.
Clout does pay. I like that. That's something.
No, but you have to be able to you have to be able to know how to do that. Right? I always tell people there's things for the look, and then there's things for the look. Right? So this seems like the person just wants to look. Yeah. Right? I had done a pod the other day, and we were talking off camera, and he's like, yo, it's like, yo, like I'm lit. And I was like, what does that mean to you? And he was like, nah, I come out of my building, and everybody's like, yo, I saw you here, I saw you there. I was like, so you're lit. I said, but what's your definition of lit? He was like, having money in my bank account. I said, do you have money in your bank account from this? Yeah. He's like, nah. I said, so you're not lit. Right. You lit to them. Right. And everybody has, I talk about this a lot. There's words, and everybody has their own definition of what that is. Yeah. Right. So clout you can use, you have to, right? But that can't be your only form of payment. Right. If you use clout to sit there and now there's a purpose behind the clout, because that should lead to something. Yeah. This situation, if I'm involved, I sit there, and again, I'm not saying I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the thing is for me, it's a brand clearly that the person loves, and you're happy with a care package. Great. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But at what point do we sit there and be like, okay, let's figure something out, because we're doing a lot of these different things. I had situations like that before where when a creator goes in, people think it's actually theirs.
Right.
Like when you're pushing it, it's like, yo, is this yours?
Right.
Because of how hard you're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's still education.
Yeah.
It's still understanding what, like you said, self-worth, what your brand is worth. I think not even just, I think people deal with that. I don't want to go ask for a raise because you don't feel like you're worth it.
Right.
It could be, you know, a little bit, and you're like, I don't really know, because you're afraid of you standing up for yourself, and then telling them you getting rejected, right? So, hey, brand says I tell you, I think you're worth $5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say that. Hey, 500. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
There's a conversation. You can have a conversation.
Yeah. And, you know, for me, I think that's one of the reasons why I personally like to have representation, because sometimes you can't negotiate in your own best interest, right? And so I've been in situations where I'll do something for free just because.
Right.
But then having somebody like you to be like, nah, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And be able to decipher, you know, is this one of those situations where you're like, go ahead, just do this to begin with, and then eventually let's build a relationship? Or is it one of those situations that you know, we could get paid up front for and be able to negotiate? Because for me, I'm too connected to my brand.
Of course.
And so if there's a brand that's looking to work with me, I might negotiate myself down, but you might be, you know, in a better position to be able to really negotiate on my behalf. And so at what point, right, you're a creator, at what point should you have that link in your bio where you're like, yo, for booking inquiries, contact ... Like, should you come out the gate and say, yo, I'm a creator economist out the gate and I need representation? Or is there a threshold that you should be looking to reach before you get there?
I think everybody is different, right? And a lot of times, if you look at a manager or representation as less money for you, then don't get one. Because sometimes it's like, damn, I could do that.
Right.
I'm getting, 15%, 20%, 25%, there's all types of structures out there. But I think once you're able to realize that, hey, I need to spend my time on the creation part of it, and I just kind of want to like Chiclet spoke about this in an interview a long time ago, and he was like, literally, I came into the game with somebody I trusted. So when emails come in, I know what's what, and I'm having those conversations, whatever, and I bring it back, right? I'll bring everything, right? For me, the way that I manage, I always say I'm in the presenting business, not the convincing business. Like, I will never, and you know this already, like, hey, I don't know if you'll do this, but this is what somebody said. I'll tell you my pros and my cons, and at the end of the day, you decide.
Right.
I'm not going to convince you to do anything because, again, for me being a creative at heart, I always say art is never wrong. How you do your pod, everything that you do creatively is your expression.
Yeah.
I can't tell you whether it's right or wrong. Nobody can. But if it's business, there's some things it's not right or wrong, but it's like, okay, you use this word. Could you use this word? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's when you start to get into the nuances of what it is. But a lot of people want to have a manager just because for the look. Yeah. No, talk to my manager. Yeah. But then when bread comes involved, oh, damn, it's like that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And somebody had asked me too. They were like, oh, do you take how much is it a month to manage? I said, that's consulting. I can do consulting. Yeah. But if I'm going to be your manager, I get paid when you get paid. Right. Really? It works like that? Yeah. Oh, because I had somebody here too.
Yeah.
I hear you.
What you feel, right?
I hear you. I hear you. But I think everybody's different. Everybody's different. There's not like hey, when you get to this amount of followers or when you get this, you'll understand, like, listen, you got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
I got to have somebody that I trust, because in our communities, what happens? Who you come into the game with? I trust my cousin. My cousin, he was smart. Right. He always went to class. Right. You know what I mean? I'm going to speak to you. Yo, you talk for me. You could talk. Right? But they just don't understand what this game really is. Yeah. And sometimes, like I always say, the people that you trust sometimes are not capable having the positions that you would like them to hold, so it's different. It's different.
No, I appreciate that, because like I really think that, if especially from a creator's perspective, that there's so much money in it, there's so much influence in it, there's so much wealth that could be attained, right, if creators knew how to really kind of maneuver this game. What are the biggest mistakes that you would say that a creator has done, or creators are doing, that is moving them away from monetizing their brand?
Number one is them looking at themselves as a business. That's the number one thing that I think kills all creators. Yes, it's an art form, and yes, it's your creation, but it's a business. Again, I keep going back to that. When somebody pays you something and is giving you money for you to do what you got to do, it's now becomes a business transaction. They want your eyeballs, you want their money, and they just don't get it. And they think that, they're them, right? I get the I'm him and all that, but there's certain situations. We walk out here right now.
Yeah,
we're going to step on 5 creators somewhere. Excuse me. It's like rappers now, right? And I'll tell you, from being dealing with agencies, brands, and everything, there's a lot of times, and again, not just putting it on me, but it's like, yo, Myq, I just want to deal with you because I know what it's going to be. It's business. I handle it like I'm business. Some, they don't like to deal with people that are, flip-floppy and just, I've heard this so many times. Money goes up front. I never got the deliverables. That's horrible. You give your word, it doesn't happen. It's just, you got to stick to timelines. And it's again, that's what happens. It's so difficult because we're dealing with creation and art, but you're dealing with business, right? And sometimes that doesn't mix, right? So I can sit there. That's why it's very easy to work with you, because you understand business. If I say, Ash, this is something going on, it has to be done by December 10th, you know that. Maybe don't forget, just a nudge or whatever, but you're going to know, I got to do this by December. Even if you're up at December 9th in the middle of the night, you got to make sure that that's done. Some people, I'm who I am. I got such and such amount, millions of followers, whatever it is. It's like, that only lasts for so long. It's like you're gonna just keep going until you go from business to business, and your reputation is everything. That's why I know wherever I go, you could talk to anybody. They'll tell you, Myq does what he says. He's going to get it to you on time. And if for some reason I can't, I actually tell you, hey, listen, I know we said Monday, but unfortunately you got to have those conversations. But people just like to bob and weave and duck. And it's just like, people just be too fake out here. For me. You know what I mean?
For sure. And what's the, the famous chapter 7 in his book, right? Is like the philosophy of Myq Rodriguez. Talk to me about chapter 7.
Chapter 7 is all about the business etiquette, and shout out to my man Fox. I don't know if you saw that when Fox did kind of broke down chapter 7. It was fire. Food critic out of Chicago. We're not taught that. Books, there's creator books, there's financial literacy books, and I'm still waiting for somebody to show me. I don't know if there's one that does this, so I think it's the first of its kind. So we need.
No, you're the first.
But the thing is that, again, going from the art to the business side, no one teaches you about being on time. No one tells you anything like that, because it's just like, hey, again, it's a young man's game, and you lit. So who cares about being on time? Who cares about all of that? But that sets you up for a career. Like I like to work with creators that look at it like a career, not just a job. I don't want you to look at it as like, oh, I could just do this easy to make some money for the weekend. If you want to do that, that's fine too. Knock yourself out. Me personally, I like to invest my time into people that want to build careers, and hey, how do we build this out? Use this and have the conversations. Yo, Myq, this came, I'm going to do this or whatever. And then I'm able to have the vision to throw something that you may not even. How many times we've had conversations? You'd be like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And it's literally like, and bros recently, right? Yo, bro, I can tell you all of this, but you do whatever you want. I'm telling you, I have to. That's my job, is to tell you what I feel and what I see. But you decide to do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? But chapter 7 is really big, and I hone in on that because I feel like at the end of the day, you can get some information from this book, you know, if you do your search and everything like that, because we really broke it down for them. But no one's telling you that. Nobody, I don't know any book, I don't know any course, I don't know. It's like there's no course for energy. You can't teach that. You don't get a certificate of energy, because if it did, I've had a doctorate 3 times over this. You might be 4 times. But yeah, you know, so that's my baby chapter.
Yeah, and you know, I think that because etiquette is very important, and I think that people don't understand that even if you have the influence, I mean, you talked about this a little bit, but even if you have the influence, if people don't like you, if people don't think you keep your word, if people don't look at you as a good business person, none of your influence is not going to matter. People are not going to, you know, want to rock with you. In fact, like I know, you know, in my space of podcasting, there's a lot of podcasters that have a lot of eyeballs, but the corporation's not gonna you know, give them money or sponsor with them because they don't handle business the way they should be handling business.
Right.
You know, in the book, you know, we talk about creating multiple streams of income. Why would you say that is important for a creator?
Just because it's funny, I'm literally dealing with this with a creator now. God forbid, and everybody says it'll never happen. What happens if IG shuts off? YouTube shuts off.
Yeah.
Now what do you do?
Yeah.
You go into a panic, and you got to have those multiple streams. But as I'm learning lately,
Right.
not wide streams,
Right.
vertical streams, you know, because you want to leverage your influence to bring people to, whether it's buy merch or whatever. Like I'm really on the, you know, consumable products. Like when you're big enough creator to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just because now you really become the business, right? Aside from how do you leverage your influence to do other things, and how do you use your influence to have transactional influence?
Right.
Because you can have views, engagement, and that's great. But are they gonna metaphorically put their hand in their pocket to give you that dollar? You know what I'm saying? So that's also things that you have to think about.
And you know, I think that the other piece I want to add to it is also having multiple streams of income allow you to do what you love to do worry free. Right. I think that, and this goes to anybody,
Right.
When you are worried about money, you have a bigger opportunity to be compromised than when you don't. Right. And so you think about a creator who, you know, wants to put out a certain message. The moment that they start to need money, if you will, they start to chase after what's going to give them the money, opposed to saying, no, this is my brand. This is what direction I'm going to go in. And this is why I'm going to stay true to that. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Like, I don't drink, right? I've drunk before, but I don't drink at all, right? And so for me, it's tough to be able to take on a sponsor that I'm promoting something that I don't do, right? But, you know, there might be someone who is, you know, luckily, like I don't work for money, right? Like I'm in a space where I've created, you know, I have over 17 books, I have courses, I have coaching programs. Like I do so much vertically, that I'm in a position to say no to certain things. Like I don't have to accept anything. And so a lot of time, the reason though that is the case is because I was able to create multiple streams of income. So when a deal comes through, if it doesn't align with who I am, I'm able to really, you know, say no, walk away, or only look for sort of deals that fit what I got going on. And so I think that's also really important that creators understand that, like, if you love creating, it would be in your best interest,
right,
to first of all pick up the Content to Cash Bible, right? It could be in best interest to learn how to monetize your brand, but also it's in your best interest to learn how to monetize it from the jump. Right. Like learn, you know, what value do you give out to the world, and what ways can you monetize that, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, it's really, you know, about taking control
Right.
and not, you know, having like that leverage. So you've been able to, you know, like you've negotiated millions of dollars, you know, in deals. What is the similarities, or what is the thing that a creator or the similarities you've seen in brands willing to give, you know, a creator millions of dollars? Like, what is that secret sauce that gets you to that level where a brand is willing to invest a lot of money in?
Yeah, I think they got to see that they can make money. That's the biggest thing. That's the only reason why anybody's going to give you any money is if they can make money, right? Whether it's with eyeballs, sales, whatever. Those scenarios, those are creators that are brands, right? That they sit there and it's like, wow, you know, people that invest look at them like stocks, and it's like, okay, this is on a trajectory, and I'm gonna infuse, you know, and put an influx of money, and that's how I'm gonna get my money back. It's learning all of these things that we talk about in the book. You know, the power of no is incredible. I think social media has also kind of killed people's learning aspect of it. Again, going back to this, because we can have a conversation because of where we are in our life, in our experience, to sit there and tell somebody no, because we're fine.
Yeah.
But then you have somebody that just started. Oh, Myq and Ash said say no. You got to know where you're at.
Right.
You got to sit there and you got to get screwed over.
That's a good point.
You got to have your experience in order to understand why this is. Because I can sit here all day long and say what it is, but everybody's situation is different, you know? So, you know, they always say that the internet and social media made the world, you know, smaller.
Yeah.
I say it made it bigger because you know somebody that has 25 million followers that I may not even know.
Yeah.
And I may say the same thing. And it's like, damn, what is that? How do they have so many followers? I never heard of them, but that's your everyday life. And it's just, you know, that goes into the algorithm and all these different types of things. But then I also know people that have 30,000 followers that can make more money than somebody has 500,000 followers.
Yeah.
And it's all about taking this thing seriously and running it like a business. And like you said, not chasing money. You know my saying. I'm going to say it right to the camera.
Right.
Don't chase the bag. Pick up your luggage. That's the money that's meant for you.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, that metaphor is so dope because, again, chasing the bag means you out here looking for something that's not yours, right? Pick up the luggage. The money's already earmarked for you. Yeah. Right. You just go pick up your luggage. Yeah. So that's powerful.
Yeah. And it's difficult. I'll tell you, it's very, and I told you about this situation too. It's very difficult from a management perspective when you're the voice or the face of creators and you're the conduit of the money.
Yeah.
Right. And this person, brand A, may want creator A. They speak to manager A. Right. And what happens is, as a manager, you have to think of your client first,
right,
before you.
Right.
So I told you about this situation.
Yeah.
And that, you know, the situation is, not to sound all cryptic and stuff like that, but basically there was a brand that wanted a 7-figure situation. I was working with 2 different companies, and one company was like, "Hey, I'll give you." It was a 6-figure, very nice six-figure check. If you could convince them to come over here.
Yeah.
And I didn't, because I thought that the other company was better for them.
Yeah.
I made less money.
Yep.
But I just felt like that was better for them.
Yeah.
If I think about me, I'm going over here.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about Myq. And that's the difficult part too, is that we're living in, you know, I say I'm positively selfish, but you got to have experience too, because you got to know when to be selfish and when to think about you. But you're in a position, you know, if you're a doctor and something happens, you can, I'm tired. You know what I mean? You got to be, you know, you're in that position. So, you know.
Yeah. And how, like, because even in that particular case, you know, there's a fine line between ethics and a fine line between getting what you desire by any means. Like, how do you know when you're crossing that line? Like you know, like somebody, you know, will probably say, man, you know, you got 2 deals on the table. One deal you think is better, but the other deal is still a great company.
Mm-hmm.
But it could land you more money. Like
Right.
like at what point do you, how do you know? Like what gives you that discernment to say, man, you know what, I'm gonna do this over here. Because at the end of the day, if you would have taken that 6-figure check, and went with the other company, you wouldn't be hurting your client, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just think I wouldn't be hurting them. But for me, I'm a in the mirror guy.
Yeah.
I know why I made that deal.
Yeah.
I don't like to look at. It's going to sound contradictory because sometimes you have to look at the money. It's like, hey, this one, you're negotiating. Hey, they're offering more money.
Yeah.
This situation, like I said, I just felt like this company could do more for them.
Yeah.
Than this other company.
Yeah.
And I would have been short-sighted for me.
Yeah.
Because I would have only been thinking the only way I went over here was because it wasn't for my client.
Right.
It was for Myq.
Right.
And if I want to do that, I do my own thing like I'm doing now. So like with this aspect of it, the writing the book and what we're doing, like I can control me.
Right.
And I'll do whatever Myq feels like. Right. But even with us, with the things that we do together, like, the other day I'm like, all right, I was talking about me and you, but then I kind of put my manager hat back on and I was talking about you, and it's not that, I tell you, that's not easy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not easy, especially, when it's money.
Yeah.
Right. To say that you're not about money for, $1,000, it's a lot easier than 6 figures.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. So
what does the evolution of Myq's success look like?
Evolution, this is, I always say, pardon the pun, is my next chapter. You help me get to my next chapter and see what it is. This book is taking me, and I realize, to another chapter. I'm going to, we're building out the program. Hopefully we'll, once we do that, monetize that, and then get it into schools. And I just want to be, I want to be an info giver. Like I always say, I don't want to teach, because the younger generation, as soon as you say teach, they don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I know already. I'll give you information. I have information for you. You want that? Great. Same way how I handle my, hey, I'm a presenter, not a convincer. Same thing. I got information. You want it? Great, cool. If you don't, I don't want you to feel, I don't want to sound preachy.
Yeah.
Because I understand what that is. I tell my 14-year-old all the time, I'm like, listen, I was 14 before, but I wasn't 14 today. And it's a lot different. So, and I understand what it's like to be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Listen, I thought I knew everything. Yeah. I wouldn't be here if I was 21 years old. I'll tell you that. You wouldn't want to talk to that dude. You know what I mean? So the next chapter is definitely me trying to help the next generation get to this point sooner than I did.
Yeah.
That's like my ultimate goal. And I'm all about, I'm a human person.
For sure.
So that's my thing.
Yeah. And I love, even being on this journey with you. Like, I love how you're stepping into your OG phase, if you will, right? Where it's like, all right, I have this information, because you don't accept everybody as a client, right? And so now you have this information, you have the clients that you work with, but how do you duplicate Myq, right? How do you get this information? And so it happens by writing the book, so people can have information. It happens by the Brand Success Academy, where someone can take the program and really learn through instructional videos and things of that nature how to really monetize their brand. And I think ultimately, though, also I don't know if this is your vision, but one of my visions is creating a school, if you will, like training other Myqs, right? So that they could either represent their family member or represent other people, you know what I'm saying, within this space. And then it becomes this you could scale, right? So you can scale this economy and get it to the next level. But then also you can create a fairness in it as well, right? So I know there's an association that you're in the process of developing, and I know even if you think about what's happening in the world with diversity, equity, and inclusion, why do you talk a little bit about the association And why do you think it's important for creators to have diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah, and I think that word diverse and the way that we use it, and I understood it. Diverse meant, let's just call it black and brown, right? Where for me, true diversity is diversity.
Yeah.
Everybody, white, black, brown, whatever it is. And I've always been on that type of time. I understood what it was for. And now that we see in corporate America, how they're getting away from that. And I don't see that as a bad thing, because my viewpoint is diversity still causes separation. You know what I mean? Like, you have the Latino, initiative, and the Black initiative, and the women initiative. And I get it, because you need to shed light, but how about we just do this all together, and just show people that it doesn't matter. And if you happen to have a brand that's Latino based, then you just get Latino, influence, whatever you work that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that, right? Like, for me, I know, like, these platforms have, and I'm not going to mention a platform, but this is the Black Club and this is the Spanish Club, and I'll use those two. And I'm 100% Puerto Rican, but when you tell me the names, I'm like, I'll go to the Black, because that's what I am, meaning the culture. I'm not 100%, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but because my last name is Rodriguez, you want to put me in that box already without even knowing. And I'm from New York, where we don't see color. And I constantly say that, and it's no disrespect to anywhere else, but I feel like if people really looked at the world, how New Yorkers, not the bad New Yorkers, but the culture and the melting pot, because we're all one. As soon as you leave New York, it's separated.
Correct.
You have this, you have that, and I get that, because that's what you come from.
Yeah.
But I want to be the change. I want to be the change, because I remember, in the conversation with you about this, it was like, I've seen panels or, conferences as black and brown. It's not. It's not. It's 99% black and 1% brown, or vice versa. And I literally was going to call one of them and reach out. Not call, because that's mad old school, right? I was going to call with the rotary phone. No, I was going to reach out and say, hey, let me do this, the Spanish side or whatever. And I was like, but that's completely what I don't want to do. Let me figure something out. And thanks with your help. And I don't really want to mention it yet until we have more legs on it. But
I cut that check.
No, but yeah, that's something I'm also very passionate about, to be the change that you want.
For sure.
For
sure. Yeah, and I think that's important, right? Because I think that when we start thinking about again, like you said, diversity, inclusion, equity, like, these things are really important, and these things are it has to be, diversity has to be inclusive. Right? Like, you can't create you can't be what you don't like, right? Like, you can't create diversity and exclude.
Right.
And so, and I think that I heard this somewhere. Somebody was like, people, when we think about gatekeepers, like, people are waiting their turn to be the colonizer, right? Like, they're waiting their turn to be the person to shut people out, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to really understanding that I want to make this a fair thing, right? I want to make this a fair thing. Why do you think, though? Because there is also, though, to be fair, there is a lot of lack of equity in this creator space, where I'll watch, let's just say, a white creator, they didn't even make up the dance, or they didn't even make up the the joke, or whatever they're getting paid for, but brands are giving them sometimes 10 times more than a black or brown creator. Why is there so much inequity in this creator economy?
That's the people that are controlling the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Right. And I've witnessed that, and I've known of those scenarios. Brand A, right? Won't mention brands.
Yeah.
You know, white creator, 100K. Black creator, 25K. Another brand, Spanish creator, $800. White creator, $20,000.
Wow.
You know, and again, it's the wild, wild west. Sometimes you don't know what's going on, but it's like, look, like the first instance that I told you, the white creator said he didn't want to do it. He was like, nah, that's not right. Because he knew.
Right.
Right. And that wasn't one of my clients. It was one of my, my man that I know. I don't know why that is. I mean, I think it goes back to people like, why do we still have racists? Why do we still have people? You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's the human element. That's why, like, I want to be the difference. I want the Myq and the Ashes to be there to control. And this is why I try to tell a lot of my creators too, to control your narrative, control your world, control as much as possible. Do the Rockefeller, not as much now, but build your own, so that you create leverage and you can do the certain things, and you don't have to sit there and worry. Like, make money with people, not like from people. Like brands, I always tell people, they're paying you, right? You're getting money from them. Why don't you make money with them, right? And it just sets a different tone. But again, I'm not saying I'm the only person out here, but I know that that's anybody that I'm involved with. That's what I'm trying to. And I know I like to say teach, but I preach that.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get tired of hearing me saying that. I'm gonna continue saying that because of those scenarios where you go back to the power, $800, and then somebody might take it. Right. Because they think that that's what they're worth. Because they don't have to tell you, hey, we just did this. If I don't know people and I don't have these conversations, I don't know.
And how do we do that though? How do we create a space where creators are this transparency, if you will, right? Because I see this in my space, right? Like in this podcast space where there might be same type of podcast, might have got this deal over here, and then that same company comes to me, but this podcaster is tight-lipped about how much they got. Like, we're not sharing information, so that way, I don't know that. Damn, I probably could have got 100K for it, but I got 30 because that's what I thought. I didn't. This is my first time in it. Like, how do we, create that unification in brand deals, or is that not even possible?
I don't think it's possible with society today.
Yeah,
I think if the creator economy was back in the 80s, it's possible.
Yeah,
and that may be an old dude speaking, right? But I grew up in a we society, and we're very much in a me society. And there's egos, right? And nobody wants to talk about anything. And you know that in the financial space. Think about that. How much you get paid? Nobody wants to tell anybody. Even if you're making $6 an hour, making $6. But it's like, I this was brought up about, hey, could we get a creator union? It's not happening. It's not happening because everybody is so conditioned to think about themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take an L to help Ash. I don't know Ash. I got bills. Right. I got a wife, kids to feed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that that's possible. And I think that becomes relationship based. It becomes, I've had agencies, and again, it could be part of the game too, but I could read people pretty well.
Yeah.
Where I don't like to give prices, but if I get to a point where, let's just say I say $5, be like, hey, Myq, look, I can give you 10.
Right.
That's because I have a relationship with somebody. Oh, okay, cool. That sounds good, right? If they don't want to deal with you, like is it worth it?
Yeah.
But I think in order to get that, it's a matter of having open discussions with people that, again, don't have an ego and can sit there and, hey, I could tell Ash, hey, I got $50K from them. You're like, damn, they only gave me $10K, right? And to make sure that, I can't control it, but then you go home, got $50K. I said, better than him. I better guess on his part. I don't think that that's going to happen. And I think everybody has to navigate their waters and get, like, that's why your team is very, very important.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the comparison.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of being happy with your 10K, you're pointing because they got 50K.
Right.
How do you have that conversation? How do you bring that up? Hey, you know what? Next re-up.
Right.
Hey, I know you work with such and such. And if you found that out.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Right. Was there a different, whatever. Have these conversations because, some people ain't what they think they are too.
Right.
Right. Like I said, everybody wants honesty until they get the truth.
Right. Facts. And so, right now, so I have a 9-year-old. My son is 9.
Ash Jr.
Fast shout to HA in the building. He has a YouTube page already. He's working towards getting monetized ever, so I think he has a 2,000, 3,000 hours. I forget the amount, but he's close. He has the subscribers, so now I think it's the watch hours he's working on.
Right.
He wrote a book already, so go to Amazon.com. Ash Loves Cash.
Yeah,
is the name of the book by AJ Exantis. Go get that. All right. So he's already part of the creators economy, and he wants to be part of the creators economy. What advice would you give to my 9-year-old son on how to, continue to build his brand, but how can he maximize the most amount of money?
Well, speak to Uncle Myq. No, I mean, I think what he's doing, he's fortunate because he has you.
Yeah.
Right? Forget about the creative side. Your business, right? You're going to make sure that he handles his business. I would sit there and, again, I speak about how getting into this space is such a low or no cost of entry. Little Ash did not pay for his laptop.
No, we pay for it. That's right. There's a fact though, but
so for him, the creator,
he got a MacBook,
right? So it's different. Again, it's different for you because I know what the household and your mindset is and what your values.
Yeah.
But for most kids, I didn't pay for this. If it breaks, so what? I just need another one, right? And now you're building something on something that you did not invest any money into.
Yeah.
Your parents did that,
yeah.
Right? So for him, every creator has to, hey, what's your goal?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you can have a conversation with a 9-year-old. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do this because it could change at 11.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I just want to do this because I want my friends to see my videos. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can have a 9-year-old say, like, look, I want to make money from this because I don't want to ever go to school again. I don't know. You know what I mean? And then you kind of formulate that because, like I said, building watch house. Okay, what do I need to get monetized? Okay, I'm going to work on this. Yeah. I'm going to work on that. Clearly, you have to go to school. You can't do it 24 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you like to stream? Yeah. Okay, how do you do that? But then as a parent, you got to worry about that. Okay, if you're streaming, how do I know if there's adults watching? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that type of stuff too. Sure. So for him, it would be have a conversation with Uncle Myq on the side. No, but I mean, and all jokes aside, if you really wanted to do that, we have that conversation. But I just think he just got to get focused and set some, short-term goals, weekly goals. I'm going to put this amount of videos out because that has to happen. He has to build his brand, too.
Yeah, and I think that what is your thought on, because we talked about this, right?
Wait, super sidebar.
Yeah.
In his videos, have you put commercials for the book?
We haven't. No. That's good. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, too.
That was my Rain Man.
So yeah. No, and it's funny because and that's why you have to have these conversations, because just like my podcast, I put commercials in there. Yeah. Like I use all of the equity that's there. So that's definitely a good idea. So I talk about like my son has his own book, right? You as a creator have a book. When I think about other creators, I think a lot of times creators are relying only on brand deals, right? So they're like shucking and jiving, trying to sell themselves to the highest bidder. When they have an active audience, right? They should productize themselves. I know we're in the process of talking about different options or different ways that we can create products, and services for our, for creators that we might work with, or even for ourselves. How important is that, right? Like, how important is it to, create or change your mindset as a creator to not only focus on exchanging laughs, if you will, or whatever you do as a creator for a deal or sponsorship, but or if you could talk about the different other ways that you can monetize.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like what you said. It's multiple streams vertically.
Yeah.
Right. You're using your leverage that you built on social media. Let's use laughs.
Yeah.
Right. And you sit there and it's like, okay, maybe there's a book, like you said.
Correct.
That's one thing. Then you have merch. That's something else. Now the book and now the merch. Now you can go do live shows. This is now we're sitting here. We're all going vertical. Right. And then that again, products. It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people and again, this is new for me and understanding as far as like I said, as far as an understanding of it. I was always thought this was multiple streams.
Yeah.
I was doing everything, bro. I had my 9 to 5. I was managing music. I was helping marketing for a jewelry company. I was doing DVDs. I was, all these things. And it was, yeah, right before that, right? And it was like, hey, something gonna give.
Yeah.
And if you sit there and you go like this,
yeah,
and now, okay, I'm a manager, right? Oh, okay, I know what brands need. Okay, and I'm creative. Okay, I'm gonna do marketing. Okay, I have people that have good ideas, talent. Let me see if I can put this together. Now there's media, right? Okay, now Ash. Now there's a book. Now everything that we're doing, it's the same thing. And I think everybody has to do that.
Yeah. Because
again, what happens when you wake up and IG is going through something? You can't sell through there. You got to figure out all these things, and people don't know that.
Yeah. And that's honestly, that's the worst to me. The worst thing about being an influencer is having influence with no money, right? And the reason why I say that is because our community believes that fame equals money when it doesn't. Especially like if you are an influencer and you went viral, and you don't got a product or service, and God forbid they see you on a train. God forbid they see you low. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this already assumption that this guy got 1 million followers. I remember Davis. I remember watching him on an interview and saying that he had 4 million followers and still sleeping on his mother's couch, because he had not figured out how to monetize his brand. And, he was popular and recognizable, but at the same time, he wasn't monetizing the brand. I know tons of people right now who have millions of followers, but don't know how to monetize the brand. And that just creates this false sense, right? Why does it create this false sense? And it also creates this ability to waste money, right? Why? Because people think you got it, when you go out to the club, when you going out to events, you got to look like you got it, right? So now you got to spend money that you don't got to impress people that you think, to keep up with an image, opposed to creating or just being yourself, or opposed to from the gate creating a business model behind your influence, so that way you're getting fame and money.
Yeah.
Right. Like like I said, like I've written tons of books. I do a lot of coaching, brand building. I have my own platform that help people with marketing. So for me, my fame equals more money. Right. Meaning the more people who know about me, the more they'll buy my books, they'll get my programs, they want the coaching, things of that nature. And so there really isn't a space where fame equals nothing for me, because again, I'm leading also with me being that brand, opposed to some other like influencers who just lead with their skill set but not leading that brand. So as we close out, man, what advice can you give to a new to an accidental?
Yeah, because that happens a lot.
Yeah,
that happens a lot. First thing you do is get the book, right? No, seriously, it's like the ABCs. I think you have to, number one, definitely figure out what you love to do. Because this content game is not easy. It's not. You have to sit there and you're going to be doing this for a while. Like, especially if you're new and you really want to take this somewhere, you got to be putting something out every day, right? There's ways to go figure it out and not get so stressed about it. But you have to love what you do, and you have to be unique. People talk about being one of one, and you got to figure out why that is. Yeah. Why are you one of one? Yeah, you're funny, but what is it about you? You got to have people, ask people around you, and try things out. At the accidental creator, I love. I'm in the beginning with the management side is different. Right. Me doing this is new. Right. I'm doing a bunch of different things to see what works. Yeah. See how. Hey, the beginning is I love the beginning because you can test things out. If you have 500 followers, 30 followers, you can test it out. Oh, this one got two likes. This one got okay, and you figure it all out because this is part of your journey. Yeah. When you get to 4 million, that's a different mindset. Right. You got to look at it differently. Right. Your merch can't go out printed like this. Right. So many different things. Right. So levels. Yeah, exactly. The corny. I don't want to say it's corny, but the cliche: be consistent. Yeah. Pick something that you love. Yeah. And just be you. Yeah. That's literally it. Don't compare. Yeah. Please don't compare.
And I have a follow-up question to that. Mm-hmm. Can anybody be a content creator? And what I mean by that is, we just talked about the content creator who should figure out their business model, right? So that way, when they go viral or they are putting content out there, they can monetize it. But there might be a dry cleaner owner, or there might be, somebody who owns a life insurance company. Can anybody be a creator and use what they create to fuel into, their business that they currently have?
Absolutely. I think as a business, you should be a creator.
Yeah.
Because it saves you money. You start to do it. You figure things out. You see things that work for your business. And then if you don't even know where that could take you, then you know what works for your business. And then when you go out and if you want to hire creators, now hey, this is what I like. Right. This is what works for my business.
Yeah. And document, delegate. Yeah.
Exactly. So, anybody and everybody can be a creator. Everybody has a phone. Whether you're good at it, it's different. Also need people to understand the creator economy is not just in front of the camera. You have editors, you have photographers, videographers, graphic designers. This is all the creator economy. So if the thing, the old saying that they used to say back in the day, if you have a face for radio, you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe you got to be behind the camera, right. And it's okay. Yeah. You just do whatever you feel like your heart takes you, and I promise you can build a business based off of that.
Let's go, y'all. The Content the Cash Bible by Myq Rodriguez and Ash Cash. Listen, this is the only book that you need in order to make sure that you are monetizing your brand. You're doing what you love, but you're also getting compensated in a way that helps you build wealth for you and the generations to come. Make sure we're going to have the link down in the description. Make sure you buy a copy for you. What Biggie say? Buy my CD twice. See me in the streets and be like, yo, he nice. That's on the Loto. If somebody wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
Speak to my manager, Ash. No, you could. The best thing is Myq Success. I spell Myq MYQ SUCCESS. That's on all platforms. So hit me. I do consulting on something called Modi. Just hit me.
All right, man. Tap in. Make sure you look. I need y'all to follow the show. Go to InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. We are closing out the vault. We'll see you next time, same place. In God's will, y'all. Peace.